that bait, and yes, I was able to make it just in time to be here once again to talk about development, to talk about stuff happening in and around Port Harcourt, right? Okay, now, remember a few days ago, was that last week? Yes, last week, we did have a very wonderful guest join me, looking at the results from JAM. I'm hoping to get more because, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of Port Harcourt students who sat for this JAM, right, did very well. I've seen in just the past 3 days alone, I have seen no less than 8 authentically confirmed plus 300 scores in Port Harcourt. I hope to interview a few of them in the next couple of days, all right, so that we can all get to see, and appreciate the work that's being done by some of the best and brightest teachers in this country. I have to say that, in this country. But before we get into all of that, we start out, as we do on Tuesdays, talking about business, talking about, the things that affect your business in and around those spaces, whether it's a cultural thing, whether, it's a financial nuance, so long as that affects your business. All right, we'll get to talk about that shortly as we start off this morning here on Hello Port Harcourt with tax forces. In the past decade, all right, in the past 2 decades, right, River State has become very synonymous with a task force, one task force or the other. Whenever something is up, particularly when it comes to traffic regulations, border control. I mean, if you remember during the lockdown, that the former governor, said, "Oh, there's a task force at the boundaries to make sure that food comes into the state so that this will not be expensive." And then we got to hear that those same tax force members were busy extorting, in cahoots with some members of the police force, extorting the trucks and the other things. And also, they opened a channel, a corridor. If you remember, you were not meant to have interstate travel. Such an interesting place we live in, right? But anyway, that happened. Now, years and years ago, all right, I remember when we started having issues with, traffic. So, look at Lagos. Lagos has LASMA, and then, we had to come through. I think the issue, if you remember, they used to move in those vehicles that had this Jaja Foundation. Remember that? Then they now metamorphosized, right? They now metamorphosized, into the River State Tax Force, right? And then they now changed again. Right? Now changed. I'm talking about traffic control. It now changed. And that became River State Task Force for what you call it? Against illegal trade, street trading. Aha. Yes, now I remember. Aha. Now the River State governor, that's talking about the current River State governor, Siminalayi Fubara, dissolved the state task force on sanitation with immediate effect. That's sanitation, right? And also, the regular task force, you don't see them on the streets any longer. You don't see the 4x4s, Ford Rangers. You don't see them any longer, which got me thinking. Lagos State still has LASMA till today. LASMA started before the River State, traffic control, issue started, right? But Lagos State still has LASMA today. Have there been complaints about LASMA officials? Severally. Have there been, suits instituted? I heard a few of them. Have the LASMA officials been caught, abusing their powers? Oh, yes. Have there been some form of confrontation between LASMA officials, agberos, or even policemen at some point in time, or even the citizenry in Lagos? Yes, and hell yes. All those things happened. But somehow, they were able, I don't know if it's the state government, I don't know if it's those who are in charge of the organization, but somehow, whether it's by hook, crook, or wire, you make your choice, they were able to find a way to make sure that that particular entity still exists to support the Nigerian police in terms of traffic management. You see how them today. Nobody in Lagos doesn't know about LASMA. Nobody. You can't be that ignorant. But here we are in Jolly River State. My question this morning is, why do tax forces get disbanded very frequently in this state? Why? The onus is on them, right? There's always the high-powered panel. But one way or the other, when there's a change of leadership, tax forces, whether it's for the transporters, whether it's for illegal parking, street trading, one way or the other, that or those groups, those tax forces end up being disbanded. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of some ages, let's have a conversation. The
views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeriainfo FM. Nigeriainfo, let's talk.
Hello, with Jude on 92.3 Nigeriainfo.
All right, 017-923-0003, 017-923-07 at Nigeriainfo. And as a Rivers resident, right, please, you have a stake in this conversation. The question once again is, why do tax forces get disbanded very frequently in Rivers State? Why? What's your perception? Is it that they're not properly funded? What exactly leads, to this disbandment? There's always a fracas somewhere, everywhere, and I mean everywhere in this country. Somebody's always arguing with the traffic controllers, whether it's in Abuja, whether it's Lagos, whether it's Calabar. There's always some, but the one in Port Harcourt has a very different, connotation, because when the government is about to, pass away, or transfer power, bam, they get clamped. Sadly, in the last 2 or 3 occasions, there were deaths that were involved. Could that be the reason? I don't know. WhatsApp is 0809-030-6416, 0809-030-6416. Somebody saying that they don't pay them enough. Is that really the reason they don't pay them enough? Zion is in GRA. Let's start with Zion. Zion, good morning. Do you agree that they don't pay them enough? That's why they get disbanded?
No. They are well paid.
Okay.
The problem is there are tax force other parts of this country. The Lagos State for a case study. But their mode of operation is unique. But come to this part of the world, Port Harcourt here, which have a case study, the people are so cruel, very wicked and notorious set of people. You give them the power of tax force. Okay, look at the one they just disbanded. Then go collect your property, pour kerosene on top of them. Scatter your food.
Really? You've seen them pour kerosene?
The one I came down from the vehicle. I and my men have to accost them.
Oh dear.
I'm telling you, they beat women, men, they don't care who you are. They feel like a demigod. You see this cultic behavior, is terrorism in there. We have no choice than to ask them. The truth is this: I wish they did not remove those guys. Some spirit would have waged a war against them. I'm telling you the truth. I guess some even did it now. Even it has to take some time. We call them a Pokemon. Have to wage a war with them. Say today we could die with honor because of the kind of poverty mentality. Okay, look at the Tamari. Beautiful. But do you know the atrocities Tamari commit? I don't hear people say, "Oh, bring back Tamari." Why you move them? They committed atrocities in this state, and in the wisdom they remove them. But we need to ask us, let's be honest, our people are deviant in nature. Even that is the reason why there is a law. If the people are not deviant in nature, there won't be law. Yeah. But bring in people who are educated enough, people who have the integrity, people who have that morale to deal with people, not like animals, but like a human being.
Okay.
We are not down to. In Rivers State, we are not down. But we need to do things like civilized people.
Okay. All right. Let's hear from Cheta. Oh, Cheta. Oh, that's Cheta from Transamadi. Cheta, please call back if you can. This one says, we don't have shame in River State. Oh. How can somebody say he's a tax force official and then derives joy in destroying people's property? Yes, when there are errors, why don't you confiscate those properties or give them a fine? In civilized climes, if you have committed a crime, they give a ticket immediately and you should pay. But the heavy-handedness with which these men were carrying out their duties has led to them being disbanded. I feel no remorse for their loss. It's a very complex and complicated issue, this tax force disbandment in River State. I'll tell you why, right? This is just me thinking out loud. Because it did serve as a source of employment and revenue for the government and indeed for the people who were employed. So if ideally proper fines like James here is suggesting were enforced, they see you where you're not meant to be seen, they give you a ticket, say, you're meant to pay 500 naira immediately or 1,000 naira, right? That would obviously deter people, this 500 naira paid. But what often happens that they are very aggressive. They bundle things, and then it usually leads to fiscal. In fact, just before they were disbanded, they used to move around like they were in a pack, hyenas, baring their teeth and claws. Muriel is speaking to us from Okrika. Muriel, good morning to you. Good morning.
Thank you, Jude. Jude, I think it all boils down to training. I think what we see is settled. Most of them did not train them properly. And they don't train them properly. You see, they don't even know the purpose, the actual purpose for which they were settled. They don't believe they just need to harass people and fight, fight with people if the need around it, They don't know their purpose. They don't know the purpose which they are. They need to be given guidelines during their training. So the state needs to hire persons, That's Lagos State. Who are the people that train their own last mile personnel?
Okay.
How did they go about it?
Okay.
You don't just gather people and people from your area, maybe to compensate them, and mostly, trust me, mostly political
affiliations.
I don't even want to use the wrong word,
Okay. All right, let's go for a break. When we come back, we'll read more messages.
For more talk, news and sports, stay tuned.
Tuesday morning. Yes, we had scattered showers and some heavy rainfall a few hours ago. And the weatherman is telling me mostly cloudy skies, a bit of a hot flash, maybe from about 12 or 1 p.m. But it's still going to be cloudy throughout today. But you know what they say, the weather is nobody's boss. You cannot tell nobody's the boss of the weather, rather. You can't tell it what to do when he wants to do it, which is why everybody's talking these days about climate change. Now, speaking about change, we are back to our conversations about why there always seems to be a change in the task force management here in Rivers State. I'm not saying it's a bad thing or it's a good thing, but the question is, why is this so frequent? Particularly the nomenclature. So at one point in time, it was Timariv, then after Timariv disappeared. In fact, in the case of Timariv, I remember very clearly, they were very vociferous in their outcry, talking about the residents in Port Harcourt as to the goings on in that particular establishment. I had about 3 or 4 run-ins with the then Timariv, and in fact the last one, probably my most memorable one, we were taken to somewhere near Eleme, right? And then I think it was their office, and I got to speak to the coordinator. The coordinator sounded like a very decent person. Those on the ground, it seemed as though, now that I'm thinking about it, it seems as though they were, as it were, mirroring, the flaws and, and some of the virtues of some Nigerian police divisions or stations. The DPO usually is a smart, intelligent individual. Then the corporals and maybe the sergeants who are on the streets, they're just it's gung ho, shoot first, never ask questions. That's how it was that day. Eventually, we were let go. We didn't pay a fine. The man said, no, I'm sorry. Please, we are always trying to improve the situation. This was Timariv. A week after that incident, Timariv was banned in this state. Then, under Governor Yesu Wike, you had, the River State Task Force. They were given, and this one hits home very, very badly because a lot of River State residents were very pleased. They were given a good number. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, at least over 20 Ford Ranger pickup trucks. At least 20. Because I saw them when they were coming out the very first time. I counted at least 15 or 20. In a space of 6 months and a year, a good number of those trucks look like they are just been to a civil war. They were bashed, they were hit, lights were missing. You couldn't look at this like, oh my God, this is what the River State government spend millions, hundreds of millions to purchase. And then, recently, again, they got banned. After doing such a great job clearing, I remember Rumokoro flyover, when that tax was started, the way they cleared that Rumokoro before the flyover was built, the way they cleared it, we had never seen that before. We are happy. But then things changed. Martins is in Chinda. Martins, why is there always a ban on tax force in this state? Martins?
Hello, yeah, it's Jude.
Hi, good morning, Martins.
I have an answer to your question.
Yes, please.
In Lagos, either Ikeja local government, Etiosa, Maryland, or Oshodi, all over, they speak Yoruba.
Really?
But in Port Harcourt, we speak Ikwere, Kalabari, Okrika, Andoni. So how could we be one? It's not possible.
That's
and
why.
Then apart from
that's why they have problems in tax force.
During elections and promise them that they will settle them one way or the other. So it has to change. Any government that comes in power has to have their own people to work with them. That's why.
Okay. Charles is in Rumbekwe. Charles, good morning to you. Welcome, please.
Good morning, Jude.
Good morning, Charles.
How you doing?
Very well. I hope the rain did not disturb you.
I actually enjoyed it. It put shame on Nepa's head. Understand what I mean?
I know.
So, Jude,
Yes, please.
One question we need to ask about this tax force thing in Rivers State is, what kind of orientation did these guys have? What kind of orientation are they given at the point of employment? Are they given a paramilitary type of training that has one key component factor known as discipline? It's about street urchins and turning them into what? A typical agro you have in Lagos, places like Mushin, Oshodi, Mautu, and the rest of it. You see, the best way to do it here, listen, I'll tell you this. You see, the behavior of this guy, it gives the state and Port Harcourt in particular a wrong PR because of the wild nature of these boys. So for a task force to succeed here, you need to give them a proper orientation of discipline and courtesy. Why is LASMA still succeeding and exceeding in Lagos? I'm a normal Eko, born in Mushin, raised in Surulere. But I'll tell you this. That thing called proper discipline is what has been instilled in LASMA. Yes, you have one or two bad eggs amongst them, but you have no idea of how they discipline this guy when they step out on that. So if you have the same thing here in Port Harcourt, trust me, the public will have a good thing to say about the task force.
So Charles, I have Court and Alali waiting. So for you, it's the orientation. That's the difference between LASMA and all the other task forces we've had in River State.
Straight up.
Straight up, Charles says. Let's get back to you. All right, so Court is in Uniport. Court, good morning to you. Welcome to Hello Port Harcourt. Alali is in Bonny Island. Court, what say you on this matter?
Yeah, I saw that of continuity in government of River State and selfish interest and no respect to the law. Because if you check, Timaren were constituted by the law in United from House Assembly, River State. Then if the governor comes and bans it, that shows lack of no respect to the law. Then Amechi came and created Timaren, which came come and ban it. That is arrogance of the law, selfishness. And some of them, they are not ready. They are not prepared to fund these things. They don't have any template and how to run all these things. That's where they become confused and every time. Because if you check, Nigerian police have done the work than those people. Have anybody come and ban them? Because if you feel the workers are not doing well, retrain them and retrain and retrain. That's a lack of no respect and lack of no continuity in government. That's what is causing all these things to the
Right, Court, that's a very, in fact, we'll talk about that, Court. Very astute observation. Alali, good morning to you. Welcome, please.
Yeah, good morning, Jude.
Good morning, Alali. Thank you for your patience, please.
Yes, when I carefully look at the issue of task force in River State, I've met a lot of them one time or the other, and the way they seem to distract activities wherever they are operating. And I look at the caliber of people that comes disturbing, collecting, monies from, you begin to ask yourself, who is the leader? And my brother, I can conveniently tell you that most of these people who lead these task forces or the head of these task forces are candidates who are answerable to most of these our politicians, especially the governors and so on. Maybe they don't want, they send them on some errand, and they were able to deliver, and they give them these positions as compensation.
Well, why do you? You're not the first person to have that sentiment. Where does this originate from? What proof do you have?
Yes, that's the truth. I'm not telling you something out of point. That is the truth. They use it to compensate them. And when you want to do something or like an establishment, if you don't give it to this person that has experience, or a distant person, what do you expect? They will deliver. You most of those boys in that task force are hoodlums. And where do you trace them to? So-called leaders. These are people they've used to win election in one area or the other, and they give them these things in order to compensate them. Nothing decent can come out of it, for God's sake.
Really?
They will always flop. It will be a flop until we sanitize the system in Rivers State. This thing has started long ago. Rivers State should listen to me carefully. Look, we have to sanitize the system. All these structures they've built in years that have not been productive, we have to cut them down. A leader to be able to call his people, and this is my vision. Buy into my vision. It is left for the Rivers people to look at the vision of this leader and say, yes, this man is intelligent. This man is taking us somewhere. Then they now follow him. Not the ones who've been having all these years. These people, they are nowhere to be found. Nothing is in their head, for God's sake. Believe me, Rivers people, wake up. This state is playing a very big role in the economy of this nation. And if you can have a very good leader, Rivers State will develop very, very fast.
Okay. Alali, let's get to hear from you. Good morning.
You're welcome.
Victor is back here. Good morning, Victor.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning, Victor. Thank you for your patience, please.
You, first of all, you say there is no task force. Did you come to Lemon Junction?
No, official tax force. I don't know the tax force that's operating in LMA, but the official ones.
I don't know if you call them official tax force. Always morning, afternoon, night.
Are they with a government vehicle? If they're not with a government vehicle, we don't recognize them, please.
I don't know how you call them. But you see that they most times when they stop us on the road, they say they are tax. So I don't know. What about those ones that are driving with cars, who use a small car, going about? They will stop you, they say, yeah, that's what. Why did you use phone on the steering? Why did you drive without seatbelt? Why did you? They are everywhere, they will still tax us. Let me tell you something. The reason why we will not have stable tax force in Rivers State is because of cultism. The tax force in Rivers State is a game of cultism. When you play your cultism level, they give you some doubt to go with you in the name of tax force, because commission from the government house. Then they will be going about no good training, no induction, nothing. They just send them to the public to go and become nuisance, causing problems. They will embalm them, disband them, and all. So, if you ask me, it's all about cultism and godfatherism and the rest of them. So until we sit up and know what we want, we don't have a stable tax force.
Okay. All right, Victor, thank you very much. Now, let's get to read your messages now. Let's start with WhatsApp. Don't forget, you can send us a message on our social media pages at Nigeriainfo.ph, at Nigeriainfo.ph for Facebook and on X. Let me refresh that. All right. X used to be Twitter. I don't know if it's a nomenclature that is frightening people away from it, but once again, we're active, very active on Twitter, aka X. All right. So, at Nigeriainfo, PH at Nigeriainfo. PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X. Now let's get to Facebook first. I wanted to read messages from WhatsApp, because a lot of them have been coming through during your conversations with us on the program. All right, so let's start with WhatsApp. All right, Brightner says, Jude, my factual answer to you is that the task force are always dissolved because they were formed as a settlement platform to the so-called thugs that help politicians during the election. Interesting. Aminu says, Jude, the difference between Lagos State politicians and the River State and other parts of Nigerian politicians is that the average Lagos State politician loves Lagos so much, while in River State, their politicians don't like River State at all. Their priority is their selfish interest. So Lagos State will continue to make progress more than other states. Aminu says, My brother, good morning. You see, those people, they are very annoying. The government should employ good-headed people like graduates. You know those dogs in the wildlife, how they move? The government lose or lost money because of their illegality. It's too much. The ones in Omagwa were something else. Once they want to eat bushmeat and drink, you know what? Any amount you give them, they will take and they won't come to your shop again. Is that money supposed to be for them? Very anyhow people. Interesting. that's how you know a particular person. You know, with the terms they use when they speak. Very anyhow people. And once you hear that, you just know this person is obviously from Port Harcourt. You can't take it away. Good morning, Jude. The reason why the tax force are continually being changed is because they are byproducts of electoral activities. It is a means, so to speak, in settling election urchins, hoodlums, and jobless youths in the society. It is such a pity that people have relegated themselves to use such jobs. Don't forget, they are always indigents of the state. YF, really? They are not always. Not always, but yes, I understand that narrative because on several occasions, you know, when I see these people operating, you know, some people say, I know that guy now, community boy, but they worry him. Why go they do like this? In fact, let me move away from my personal experiences, all right? But you know, that happens a lot when they're kind of the operations. But there was something that one of the callers made mention of. I think that was Alali from Bonny? Was that? Who said many of not Alali, so I think it was Kurt, right? Who said that Timariv and the River State Tax Force, both of them were actually constituted by law. And the way they were formed was so totally different from the way they were disbanded. Ideally, you know, the House of Assembly ought to have sat and said, okay, this has happened, we want to change this. And then let's not forget, during the Wike administration, you know, there was an accident. I think there was something that happened at Ajib flyover. How many of you remember that? Where somebody lost their life, and then for a while, they were in the camps, wherever they keep their vehicles. They were not on the streets. And then some of the members were speaking to journalists and say, no, you see, they don't pay us. 2 months with not seeing salary. This is that. Nobody's telling us how we are going to make our money. This is that. When we are starting, they said they will do this, they will do that. We don't have all those things. And then they go back on the streets and they became even worse. Now, there's another part of this conversation that we have to make mention is that there seems to be a very deliberate opposition to order. The tax force have been said, the last one, hey, illegal trading, street trading in particular, and parking is what we are after, particularly illegal street trading. They will leave Rumokoro on patrol. As they leave, the Rumokoro traders will just come back, voila, like a wave. They will come to Choba. The market women will see them and start running. Hey! But when they go, they will come back again. Bam! But just if you do what was asked, because once again, I've never met anybody who was minding his business and then they just came, hey, we want to lock your shop because why? That's another part. Some of the business owners did not keep to the rules and regulations. But what do I know? Back to you now. 017-923-0003, 0817923-0007, 0817923-0003, 0817923-0007. All right, Jude. The tax force were just for political settlement, not to solve any real life challenges. This is what they do. That's why they do it with recklessness. All right. The language barrier, tribal differences, and some tribes of people taking over our space. Victimization. It says, you are from here, etc. 92.3. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, please.
I'm Ibifuro calling from Kopako.
Go on, Ibifuro.
Okay. You see, I want to recount my experience within the period of these tax force operations. Like in Mokoro, when they actually started, they evacuated every, it is blocking the road and all that vehicle and the market traders. But one thing I know for sure that always makes this disbandment to take place is because the people, the occupants, the traders do not obey the laws of the land and the laws, rules and regulations that the government has put in place to checkmate their excesses. There was a time I went to Mokoro and you see these people come. As they come, these people run. The ones that touch, they confiscate their products and pour them into that bridge, And then I have to ask a lady, why do you people do this? Why don't you stay where you are asked to stay and sell? People will still come there. Now then go tire. We'll go there, still they come, they stay, then throw them to go buy another one. Such kind of words, it provokes. And you see, okay, people don't want to leave this place. We'll keep buying your products, we'll keep doing this, we'll keep doing that. So people should, know what to say and know why or the root causes of this act. And then when you provoke them, they react. And when there is a crisis, and when there's a crisis, you see that the government will say, for now, they put hold on them or disband them. So the people, they are out to disobey rules. I tell you, you see every time I don't park here, you see them they park, and when these people call you want to run, they will catch you. They get hold of you, and then they start struggling. Why will you park where they say you should not park? Why will you trade where you are not asked to trade? For goodness sake, these people in River State do not obey laws of the land, and that is the problem.
All right.
Around where I stay, they pour that into the bridge, and when you tell the they just give excuses. And but these rules are the letter. And don't do this. You want to do it because it's government. Why won't you obey government? Then you said the one in Lagos, they obey the rules. People are cultured. People are mannered. And when you are cultured and mannered, there won't be any fracas. There won't be any crisis because you obey the rules. And then if somebody eventually disobeys, they know what to do and they drag it to the. But in this case, in River State, people don't want to obey the laws and the rules in River State. That is my take. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ibifuru. Victor's back from Rumokrushi. Victor, good morning.
Okay. Good.
Yes, please.
I want to say this.
Yes.
Task force should be a very good thing. It should be a very good ideology. A very good idea, especially in an environment like River State. That was precisely. But the problem we have here, I know it's for scouts, but at least they're supposed to train them. They are supposed to be trained. They are supposed to be well trained. Not just packing out from nowhere that is standing on the road, beating motor, who doesn't know how to ask people. You just push them to the society. They will become nuisance. You will be trying to count the people that die and how they disband them and bring them back. How many will we count? What about the one they pursue about along Inter? Some person will dead there. What about the one at Slaughter, Sansamadi side? What about the one at Sansamadi? What about the one of the man that was killed? You can't name them. Why? Just because you just went and bring out from nowhere and push them to the society. They must be chaos. This is a very good ideology because we have a lot of persons that are very stubborn. Especially if you come to like a place like Element or the Element Junction. You see, they have done many things to the trading point. They have blocked the road. Like the side bridge the chain. You see that before you can cross that short look at the place with this kind of like maybe 3 or 2 poles. Before you can cross that place, it will take up the hour. Just because some women bring their market from the inside the market. And you go inside the market, they and we should base on the inside the identity. And then you come to the bus drivers like this. Yes, some of us are very, very arrogant, and the rest of them. You see somebody just park. Honestly, you park on the main road just to carry one passenger.
Exactly.
Some of them, I keep asking them. I said, okay, when you are feeling like this, maybe there is task force now, and they owe you now. You say they are oppressing you. Did you think what you are doing is it right? Just because of one person, you are just opting one day, and it's highway. So it's a very good idea for government to sit down and think. They should have a good vision towards it. Because until there is no vision, they will see the banding and disbanding and bringing and not bringing and upside down of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Victor. Victor says the upside down of it. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Okay. Escobar says, just imagine if fine, decent gentlemen like Peter Obi or the current governor of Rivers State establish a task force. One would only expect to see decency. So are you indirectly saying that the task force promoters or originators in the previous administration were not decent? Escobar, gotta be careful. Good day, Jude. I think we need a total overhauling of our values reorientation. Both the leaders and the led need this, not to solve only the tax force issues, but civic problems in our polity. Dr. Musti. It's a nice name from Okrika. All right, thank you very much. Musti from Okrika. Well, there are flaws from the side of those who organize or who, push the ideas and who bankroll, because that'll be the government, these tax forces. But then again, there's a very huge word that has to be said to the polity, to the citizenry, those who are meant to abide by these rules, those who, as we speak right now, are inching ever closer to the main road. It's little wonder when some people say, "Oh, if only the trailer can just crush like 100 people, maybe they will stop." We are very brave people. Foolish, but brave. It's almost as though wisdom is chasing some traders, but they are running faster than wisdom.
The show continues after this break on Nigeriainfo.